government to discuss quarantine centre in Semporna Island. Talian Kasih hotline popular during third wave of COVID-19. Good evening. Thank you for joining us. I'm Cynthia Arthur. You're watching News at 10. International Trade and Industry Minister Datuk Seri Muhammad Azmin Ali has sought to play down the significance of today's meeting of Perikatan Nasional PN leaders at a prominent hotel in the capital, stating it was a normal gathering. Prime Minister Tan Sri Muhyiddin Yassin was joined by ministers and PN leaders from about 12:20 p.m. The discussions were believed to centre around Budget 2021, which will be tabled on Friday.
Normal Crew Council among the Ketua Whip.
Okay.
So as a Ketua Whip of Kerajaan, then Prime Minister inform us what is the latest development, and we need to prepare for this coming session.
He said this after the meeting ended. There has been intense speculation that opposition MPs might vote against the budget. Meanwhile, leaders from PKR, DAP and Amanah were in Putrajaya today for a meeting with Finance Minister Tengku Dato' Seri Zafrul Tengku Aziz about Pakatan Harapan's proposals for Budget 2021. The National Security Council, MKN, will discuss the need for a new quarantine centre in Pulau Omadal in Semporna, Sabah at a special meeting tomorrow. Senior Minister Dato' Sri Ismail Sabri Yaakob said this was because the island is situated about 18 kilometres away from the Semporna town and could only be accessed by boat. The senior minister said the MKN would also discuss the issue of undocumented individuals undergoing COVID-19 screening, as this was not only the responsibility of the Health Ministry MOH but also under the jurisdiction of the Immigration Department.
Jika melibatkan individu yang tidak berdokumen, ianya bukan semata-mata tanggungjawab KKM. Betul, KKM akan mengambil tindakan terhadap mereka yang didapati positif, mengadakan saringan dan sebagainya. Tapi apabila ianya melibatkan individu ataupun warga asing yang tidak berdokumen, maka Jabatan Immigration perlu dilibatkan. Jadi ini tidak boleh sewenang-wenangnya kerana ianya melibatkan masalah immigration.
He said the MKN would also discuss details of the Standard Operating Procedure SOP for the operation of Child Care Centres TASCA during the Conditional Movement Control Order CMCO in the Klang Valley for a win-win situation for entrepreneurs and working parents. In another development, Dato' Sri Ismail Sabri also said the MKN would study in detail the SOP involving the management of flood victims at relief centres to avoid the risk of COVID-19 infection. He explained that the SOP would also include how to handle the disabled OKU, senior citizens and children, as evacuation would involve having close contact with them.
Pastinya kita akan membuat persediaan. Ya, kita pun faham kalau berlaku perpindahan banjir, kalau banjir berlaku, bila berlaku perpindahan, mereka akan dihantar ke pusat pemindahan banjir, yang mana tidurnya dalam kemah di atas lantai dan sebagainya, tempatnya ramai, masalah toilet kongsi beramai-ramai, semuanya ini merupakan satu perkara yang risikonya tinggi kepada yang tinggal di situ. Begitu juga, itu satu perkara. Itu yang dah pun dipindahkan. Yang waktu perpindahan pun, bantuan-bantuan untuk mengambil, membawa keluar itu pun satu hal juga. Yang kena mengangkut orang yang tak berdaya berjalan dan sebagainya, kena didukung dan sebagainya. Yang mana ada berlaku persentuhan. Semua perkara ini kita sedang fikirkan bagaimana cara untuk menyelesaikan.
He added that the movement and involvement of the relevant parties, such as uniformed bodies, including NGOs, would also be taken into account. Meanwhile, an enhanced movement control order EMCO will be imposed on the Kota Kinabalu Detention Centre after 56 inmates tested positive for COVID-19. Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri said that the EMCO will be in effect for the 14 days beginning 3rd of November.
PKPD ini akan melibatkan seramai 1,820 orang tahanan dan 114 orang kaki tangan pusat tahanan tersebut. Seperti biasa, PKPD SOP-nya samalah dengan setiap PKPD yang melibatkan penjara.
He said that as of 30th October, a total of 261 detainees and personnel had been screened and 56 detainees tested positive for COVID-19. Updating reporters on the Recovery Movement Control Order, RMCO, today, he said under the EMCO, all movements in and out of the detention centre, as well as visits by family members, are not allowed. Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri also announced that the EMCO implemented at Alor Setar Prison and prison quarters will end tomorrow after screenings by the Health Ministry found no new positive cases for the past 1 week. Meanwhile, a total of 485 people were held by police yesterday for violating RMCO SOPs. According to Datuk Seri Ismail Sabri, 480 of them were compounded while 5 other individuals were remanded.
Kesalahan engkar arahan PKPP termasuklah tidak memakai pelitup muka di tempat awam yang bersesak. Seramai 162 penjarakan fizikal yang gagal mematuhi penjarakan sosial adalah seramai 123, manakala premis-premis yang gagal menyediakan peralatan untuk merekodkan butiran pelanggan seramai 79, manakala aktiviti hiburan seramai 25 individu dan premis beroperasi lebih masa sebanyak 13, manakala yang lain adalah 83.
In a related development, Datuk Seri Ismail said 41 illegal immigrants arrested and 4 land vehicles were seized under Op Benteng yesterday. A total of 957 new COVID-19 cases reported in the past 24 hours, all of which were local transmissions. Health Director General Tan Sri Dr. Noor Hisham Abdullah said all the new cases were local transmissions, with Sabah recording the highest number of cases again with 644 or 67.3% of the total cases. In a statement today, the Health DG said there were 972 recoveries, bringing the total number of those discharged to 22,220. Currently, 10,036 people are still being treated. He said 97 of them are in the intensive care unit, with 27 requiring respiratory assistance. No new deaths were reported today for COVID-19 cases, which means the total death toll from the virus remains at 249 cases. Meanwhile, 2 new COVID-19 clusters were announced today, with 1 each in Selangor and Penang, respectively. Tan Sri Dr. Noor Hisham said the clusters were identified as Usaha cluster, which detected in Klang and Petaling, Selangor and Tembaga cluster in Pulau Pinang. The index case for Usaha cluster was tested positive for COVID-19 on the 30th of October. Close contact screening on 25 individuals found 17 positive cases. 5 were negative and 3 others are still waiting for the results. For the Tembaga cluster, the index case was screened for COVID-19 due to severe acute respiratory infections, SARI, on the 28th of October. A total of 69 individuals were screened, 7 were tested positive, 13 turned out negative, while 49 other results are still pending. The Talian Kasih hotline regained much public attention since the third wave of COVID-19, which began in September, with the increase to 12,240 calls last month from 6,770 recorded earlier. Women, Family and Community Development Minister Datuk Seri Rina Mohamad Harun said the hotline received the highest number of calls in April, with 55,129, as many people panicked with the COVID-19 situation that had just hit the country.
Aduan yang kita terima ini banyaknya daripada isu-isu semasa sebab bila moratorium ni dah habis, ada banyak isu keuangan, ada banyak isu bantuan yang diperlukan, ya, banyak lagi isu yang anak nanti nak masuk sekolah dan sebagainya. So banyak yang aduan-aduan yang diterima itu lebih kepada kehidupan.
Datuk Seri Rina was met after launching the Kembara Prihatin Negara 2020 program aimed at helping people affected by the COVID-19 pandemic, besides disseminating information on the services and incentives implemented by the government. The program is the ministry's initiative of going down to the ground in 108 districts across the country in providing assistance and services. Targeting 1 million people and focusing on public areas such as markets, business complexes, local community centres, parks, housing estates and people's housing projects. She said the program was a strategic collaboration between her ministry and the Communications and Multimedia Ministry, other government agencies, corporate companies and non-governmental organisations. Coming up, cops cripple major drug trafficking syndicate. Taiwanese authorities have confirmed the identity of the Malaysian student found dead in Alian District, Kaohsiung, on 29th October as a third-year student at Changchun Christian University in Tainan City. Foreign Affairs Ministry, in a statement today, said it was working closely with the local authorities to provide the necessary consular assistance to the parents of the victim, who were scheduled to arrive in Taipei today. The student was reported missing on Wednesday morning. Through CCTV footage nearby the university, local police found and arrested a suspect on Thursday. The suspect later confessed that he had strangled and dumped the victim's body in Alian District. Meanwhile, the ministry advised all Malaysian students in Taiwan to be alert, vigilant and cautious of their personal safety. Police crippled a major drug trafficking syndicate with the arrest of 12 suspects and the seizure of 822,000 ringgit worth of drugs in 9 raids conducted in Penang, Kedah and Perak. Bukit Aman Narcotics Criminal Investigation Department NCID Deputy Director DCP Zainuddin Ahmad said suspects aged between 22 and 46 were arrested in raids conducted from the 27th to 28th October. He added that police seized 309 kilograms of marijuana and 495 grams of methamphetamine during the raids conducted at Taiping in Perak, Kupang in Kedah and at various locations within Pulau Pinang's central Seberang Perai district. DCP Zainuddin also said that apart from the drugs and cash amounting to 65,090 ringgit, police also seized a ring and 15 vehicles worth about 1.5 million ringgit.
Menangkap 12 individu dalam lingkungan umur 22 hingga 46 tahun. Dan pecahan tangkapan adalah seperti berikut, iaitu 5 orang lelaki Melayu, 2 orang lelaki Cina, 3 orang lelaki India, 1 lelaki warga negara Thailand dan juga seorang perempuan Cina. 9 serbuan telah dijalankan serentak di sekitar Pulau Pinang, Kedah dan Perak.
Briefing reporters at the Pulau Pinang Police Headquarters in Georgetown. He said the syndicate had been actively trafficking drugs in Pulau Pinang, Perak and the Klang Valley for some time, and the drugs were believed to have been brought in from Satun, southern Thailand. Following the closure of the country's borders due to the Movement Control Order (MCO), the syndicate had brought in the drugs through sea using fiber and fishing boats. The case is being investigated under Section 39B of the Dangerous Drugs Act 1952, which carries the death penalty upon conviction. The University of Malaya, UM, will take immediate action to probe into an article entitled Yang di-Pertuan Agong should not intervene in national affairs, posted on the University of Malaya Association of New Youth Facebook page. Its corporate communications office, in a statement today, said the university viewed the matter as serious. The statement stressing that UM respects and upholds the royal institution. It said the university's top management condemns any statement that violates or is contradictory to the principle. The university, it said, would provide further information as more information is available. The Perak government intends to increase the monthly allowance for Islamic preachers in the state from 400 ringgit to 900 ringgit, as there has been no increase for more than 10 years. State Islamic Religious and Information Committee Chairman Muhammad Akmal Kamaruddin said the increment, which will benefit about 100 preachers working in the field, is timely in view of their increasingly challenging workload. Met after officiating the Perak Ijtimak Perkaderan Dakwah program in Ipoh, Muhammad Akmal said his committee will submit the proposal to the Sultan of Perak, Sultan Nazrin Shah, and if he gives his consent, the new allowance rate will be paid from January 2021.
Jadi mereka inilah yang akan menjadi ejen kepada Jaib dan juga kerajaan negeri untuk turun di lapangan memberi cerita ataupun menerangkan tentang Islam melalui akhlak-akhlak mereka juga, bukan melalui cara yang telah dilakukan oleh pihak tertentu yang menyebabkan Islam digambarkan sebagai agama yang ekstrim dan juga radikal dan sebagainya.
Thus far, the proposed increment only involved such preachers working in the field, while others were still under consideration. Malaysia Cup defending champions Johor Darul Tazim JDT are expected to sail through to the quarterfinals as the Southern Tigers are drawn to meet newcomers Kuching FA in the first round of the 2020 edition on the 6th of November. Barring any upset, JDT, the 2017 and 2019 champions, will be meeting Kuala Lumpur, who received a bye when drawn to meet Sabah, as the Tamadau were not given approval by the National Security Council to fly out of Sabah now under Conditional Movement Control Order (CMCO). Meanwhile, five-time champions Kedah and four-time champions Pahang would have to slug it for a spot in the next round. The winners of the encounter would meet the victors of the game between 33-time champions Selangor and Melaka, who are still hunting for their first title. The closed-door draw, aired live via Malaysia Football League MFL Facebook, was conducted by MFL Chief Executive Officer Dato' Abdul Ghani Hassan and Dato' Muhammad Yusof Mahadi, a member of the MFL Board of Directors. The draw also witnessed 8-time champions Perak hosting Kelantan United FC, while 2020 Premier League champions and 4-time champions Penang will meet Felda United FC. Malaysia Cup 2001 champions Terengganu FC will face Petaling Jaya PJ City FC, while UITM FC and Kelantan will fight for the next round berth. The first round is scheduled from the 6th to 8th of November, followed by the quarterfinals on the 12th and 13th November, semi-finals on 17th November, and the final on the 22nd November. The top 11 Super League teams and 5 best Premier League sides are eligible to compete in the Malaysia Cup this season. That concludes this evening's news at 10. In our top story, government to discuss quarantine centre in Semporna Island. Join us again at 12:30 tomorrow afternoon. I'm Cynthia Arthur. Stay tuned to Saluran Berita RTM and have a pleasant evening.